Dredd. What a brilliant film. Just how hasn't this had a sequel yet? It's just not right. Because this is how you do a reboot. Judge Dredd returned to our screens in 2012, roughly 17 years after its previous iteration. Now, I'll admit, Sylvester Stallone's version is actually a guilty pleasure of mine, but honestly, it never really nailed the true sense of the Dredd character. He was very much treated like a hero and a saviour of the city. Here though, he is a rough, no-nonsense, hardened fighting machine who is simply there to do his job. The film is fueled by constant action and violence. Rarely do you get a breather in the film before Dredd goes back to adding to that body count. Its action sequences are simple but very effective. There's no need for anything overly spectacular. If Dredd has a chance to take out his target, you can bet your ass that he's gonna do it. He ain't gonna mess around and complicate things. No. He will just quickly put a bullet in your head without a moment's notice, and that is an important aspect to the Dredd character. He is a well-oiled, unwavering soldier of justice. Karl Urban does a magnificent job in taking the leading reins. Dredd is a feared name throughout Mega City 1, and he is able to convey that intimidation factor effortlessly. He really does deserve the utmost amount of praise, and along with him, the writers as well are owed a special mention, as their decision to not have Dredd remove his helmet for the entire film works absolute wonders. It keeps the character's hidden motivations away from us viewers. We know there's more to Dredd deep down than meets the eye, but for now, we're to be content with a reboot based solely on showcasing his strict, brutal enforcement of the law. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Dredd setting, the world is set in a dystopian future in which most of the world is now an eradicated wasteland. Around the world are mega cities, which can reach heights of over 800 million people in population. And the walls of the megacities are the only thing separating them from the outside and the cursed earth. But humanity continues on. Inside these violent metropolises, everyone is still subject to one thing, and that is the law. As judge, jury and executioners, the men and women of the Hall of Justice are the only thing fighting against the city from crumbling underneath its own weight. Recently, a new addictive drug known as slow-mo, capable of slowing the user's perception of time to 1% of normal, was making waves across the city. 17,000 crimes are reported daily, an insane amount, and the judges can respond to only 1% of those crimes. Now, Dredd is tasked with taking Olivia Thirlby's rookie Anderson out into the field. She marginally failed her exam, but due to her having special psychic abilities, which would work very well out in the field, the chief judge wanted to give her another shot, so she was getting chucked right into the deep end to see if she could make the grade. She was a lot more pleasant and sympathetic compared to Dredd, but this was her show, her decisions and her calls. Anderson decided to take a call of multiple homicides inside the massive 200-storey megastructure of peach trees. And here is where we spend most of the film's duration. After arriving, they quickly surmise that the murder victims were publicly displayed to send a message. Do not fuck with the Mama clan. Lena Headey makes a worthy antagonist as gang overlord Mama. She effectively controls the whole of Peachtrees with ruthless, violent killings such as skinning her victims. She flushed out and murdered all of her rivals, leaving Peachtrees and everyone in it at her mercy. Mama was quite happy to have the judges show their faces, expecting them to just wipe out all of the perps responsible from the vicinity. But when Caleb was taken alive, who knew the secret that Peachtrees held, she knew that he would crack under the interrogation, so she initiated a lockdown so the judges had nowhere to run. And this is where it got good. With nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, the pace drastically rose as Dredd decided it was time to attack. To push forward up the 200 floors to reach Mama and stop her reign of chaos. But there were plenty of obstacles which stood in their way. massively outnumbered, limited ammunition, no assistance, and holding a hostage are just to name a few. But what followed was just an excellent representation of how Dredd is an unstoppable badass. His clever tactics and precise aim allowed him and Anderson to climb up the floors. And as they were getting much closer to Mama's base of operation, she was starting to sweat. They had already taken out over 20 to 30 of her men, probably more, but after Anderson had let her guard down and allowed Caleb to capture her, Dredd was on his own. Not that it deterred him, mind you, he gave a powerful speech along with his signature line, and then took out close to 10 more of Mama's guys with just a single shot. Yeah, don't fuck with Judge Dredd.
Inhabitants of Peach Trees. This is Judge Dredd. Mama is not the law. I am the law.
And that prompted Mama to her last resort. She called in the cavalry as 4 corrupt judges came to Peach Trees for Dredd's $1 million bounty. They were to flush him out, kill him, and make it look like a bust gone wrong. Lex proved to be the toughest of the 4 judges after Dredd dispatched 2 of them after seeing through their ruse. But he ran out of ammo, allowing Lex to gain the upper hand. And after taking a bullet right through the abdomen, Dredd was thankfully able to stall Lex long enough to allow Anderson to make the save. Lex tripping over the good old villain not taking the shot when he had the chance. Dredd's a fucking beast for getting on with it though. No sooner after having that hole blown through his side is he back up on his feet and fully focused on driving forward. Mama was never going to be a force to be reckoned with, she wasn't that sort of villain, but you expected she was going to have 1 to 2 tricks up her sleeve. Dredd never fell for Mama's master plan though, as he gave her a taste of her own medicine, literally, and threw her for one last slow-mo enhanced trip all the way down, face first, into the ground. And what do you know, even after losing her primary weapon, getting captured and had given up her hope of passing the test, Dredd gave her a pass. See, there is something more to him underneath that extremely tough exterior. Dredd really does feel a bit like an old school action film from a simpler time, and it deserves a solid 8 out of 10. Its high intensity, fast paced action along with a simple story to boat is without hesitation worthy of every moment in its roughly 1.5 hour runtime. It is an example to other films that if you can execute a simple premise in the right way, the outcome can be absolutely brilliant. And with Dredd being filmed in South Africa, it really added to the effect of the harsh environment that confided within the megacities. Heat etched from the ground as you can practically feel the backlash from the fallout and the cursed earth. Again, the effects, never too over the top and never too dramatic, add to the overall feel of this real world that we're being brought into. It is a world fueled by violence, and that aspect never lets up. And it's one of only a few films released in like the past 5 years or so that I can actually go back and re-watch happily. It's a real shame that the money made from the film never got to the point for a sequel to be greenlit. I wanted one, and I'm pretty sure most of you wanted one too. Now lately, fingers crossed, rumours have been milling that Netflix might even be considering bringing Dredd to our TV screens. And my mouth waters at even the prospect of getting a show in similar tone to that of their recent Marvel adaptations. It's a natural fit, and whether the rumours are true or not, one can keep hope that someone high up in corporate will make those rumours into a reality. Come on, make it happen. Karl Urban's performance was admirable, and I hope that one day he will be able to don that helmet again at least one more time. Thanks Karl, you smashed it my friend. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you on the next one.
Only one thing fighting for order in the chaos. Judges.